Attack of the Paper Bats from the Library of Doom. Written by Michael Dahl. Illustrated by Martín Blanco. Copyright 2008, Stone Arch Books. The Library of Doom is the world's largest collection of strange and dangerous books. The librarian's duty is to keep the books from falling into the hands of those who would use them for evil purposes. Chapter 1. The Book Left Open. A book lies open on the street. The book belongs to the Library of Doom. It was stolen from the library many years ago. It traveled through many lands, passing from person to person. The breath of 1,000 readers mixed with the ink and sighed through the paper. After many years, a young boy saw the book in the window of a small store. "That's the book I want," said the boy. As the boy hurried home with his new purchase, the book fell out of his bag. Now the book lies in the street. Its pages grow warm in the pale moonlight. Chapter 2. A Strange Wind. From out of nowhere, a cold wind blows down the street. The wind shuffles the pages of the book. Several pages rip off. The wind's invisible fingers fold and refold the pages into strange and deadly shapes. The pages are sharp. The pages fly by themselves. The pages are hungry. On the dark street, the wind rips off more pages. Chapter 3. Dark Windows. In another part of the dark city, the librarian walks alone. The wind whistles down the street. The librarian pulls up his collar. He lowers his head as he walks into the wind. As the librarian stops in front of bookstores, he peers into the dark windows. "None of these have the books I want," he whispers to himself. The librarian is searching for books that were lost or stolen from the Library of Doom. A piece of paper flies overhead in the wind. A scream rips through the dark. Chapter 4. The Scream. In another street, a young boy is reading a book. He hears something scratch softly against his window. The boy opens his window. A small dark shape falls out of the sky. "Ow!" yells the boy. A sharp piece of paper slashes his hand. The boy tries to close the window, but the wind is too strong. More and more pieces of paper rush into his room. They move as if they were not pieces of paper, but bats. The boy screams. Chapter 5. A attack. The librarian runs down a lonely alley. He runs toward the sound of the scream. Looking up, the librarian sees a cloud of pages. Some of them are flying into a small window high above him. Somehow, he must help the boy. The librarian leaps and grabs the bottom of a fire escape. Quickly, he darts up the metal stairway. The librarian crouches and then leaps. He flies across the alley. As he leaps into the swarming ball of paper, the creatures attack. He is surrounded. The librarian leans backward. He loses his balance and falls into the alley. Chapter 6. The River. The boy leans out his window. He watches the paper bats leave his room and attack the man who tried to help him. On the floor of the alley, the librarian covers his head and face with his long, dark coat. Then, he runs. He cannot see where he is going, but he knows he cannot fight the swarm of pages. The librarian rushes down the alley. The alley drops off into a dark river. The librarian stops at the end of the alley and then dives. The pages dive after him. In the water, the pages lose their sharp edges. The paper falls apart. Everything sinks to the bottom of the river. In his room, the young boy looks through the closed window. Where is the strange man who tried to rescue him? The end.